Everybody.
How was studio time?
Very informative. Very nice to know more about my other classmates.
Awesome. It's great to hear. Here we go. That's it. It's good to get to know your classmates, because a long journey ahead of you guys together, and they are the best people to work with. Anybody really like the group? See some head nods. Awesome to see.
Yes.
Also, can't say anything bad. Don't forget we're recording. Just saying. Just kidding. There's something bad to say.
I don't know about that Kyle though. What do you guys think? I'm just kidding.
Honestly,
you're the best.
hold himself.
I think you need a dog.
Shady,
Dang
shady
right, he needs a
character.
dog.
Didn't want to name his dog
right.
Star.
I think he's a
Yeah.
dog kidnapper.
We need to
I'm
get him a dog.
so kidding.
Well, this
Kyle, you're awesome.
out.
Yeah, I get
I was worried about who was going to be teaching this class. I was like, I have a hard time understanding. And I was like, I like the way you speak. I like the way, you're not just talking like this. So this is how you code. And then you do a console log. You actually have a
I like the
personality.
energy.
Yeah.
Good.
Energy's
I would
very
literally
nice.
bore
Great.
myself to sleep. Oh my
Refreshing.
Energy for me, the energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're just going to boost Kyle up.
Hell
God.
yeah.
Thanks,
Right,
guys.
and we understand it better the way you teach it. Like I'm
Right.
a visual
Yeah.
learner and
Right?
you own it.
Good.
You're
That's
great,
what I like to
man.
hear. Thank you.
I want to be you when I grow up.
I'm be down when I grow up. And
When I grow up, I'm going to be a Kyle.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Kyle.
be a.
Be careful. Be careful what you wish for.
smart goal.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
What's your
There we go.
name?
My smart goal. Be Kyle.
Yeah. Kyle. Hashtag be Kyle.
Hashtag
What would Kyle do?
Oh, man.
Oh,
I should make that a channel on Slack. What would Cal do?
Yeah.
I'm just not
Kill
going to
your
chime in.
dog.
You guys just assume what I would do, and I'll sign whatever paper.
Make some family feud cards just for launch code. What would Kyle? What example would Kyle use if he was trying to describe an instinct?
I love it.
Cal do.
Yeah, just make a whole trivia game based on Kyle.
Yep. All right. Trivial Pursuit.
That's gonna be my professional project for the lift. What is it called?
Oh,
Lift-
liftoff.
Yeah. What would Cal do?
Oh, my
Why?
gosh.
Nah, Kyle Pursuit.
Started
I'm
something.
excited. Kyle Pursuit. I'm excited.
Project
Excited.
Love it.
Put Kyle's face over yours. And then you can
Exactly.
Become one with the Kyle.
There you go. I feel like I'm really being built up here. Like my ego is
Gotta
already
hype you
up
up.
there. I'm just. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Also, what I needed after this long week and long Thursday. So thank you very much. Oh, let's dive into it. Enough complimenting me, unless you guys
All
want to
right.
just DM me and continue complimenting me. I'm definitely not. But
We're gonna make that Slack channel. What would Cal do?
Yeah.
gosh, I'm gonna stay out of that one. Just yeah. Oh, how did everyone feel about their SMART goals today? How do you guys like that?
It was good.
Just the concept. We don't have to talk about any
Realistic.
personal goals or anything,
Helps
but
with goal setting.
yeah.
I find it's hard. I have to
It is.
itemize my big dreams. I have to itemize them into very specific steps.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the best part about SMART goals. What I wanted to bring up before we actually dive into the studio, because we're not really going to dive too deep into it, just because your SMART goals are yourself. Like whatever your goals are, that's what SMART is there for. A lot of organizations, both corporate, nonprofit, use SMART goals as their either quarterly, biannual, or annual checkpoints with either their employees, with managers, and also with people that are head honchos. SMART goals are a really important concept to just understand at the bare minimum, not only for a corporate sense, but also for your personal sense. Like you've already said, it is a great way to really put realization or reality into something you want to achieve. With coding, that is the best thing to do. As we already kind of noticed, coding is a lot like an art, less like a I don't know, just something that's like more structured. It's more of an art because there's 1,000 ways to do one simple thing. And when you see a blank canvas and you want to paint a forest, you have to actually, just like when you're painting, you really have to focus on what you want to create there. You got to have some kind of pathway in which you want to end your painting. I mean, just look at Bob Ross. God, I just watched Bob Ross for like the first time like a few months ago, and he is the best.
Oh.
But basically, he goes into that canvas having some kind of vision in mind. And that's what SMART goals do, and that's what we need to do during coding. So it's very, very important that we understand how to kind of make those baby steps to approach those milestones that we want to accomplish while we're doing our coding projects. So like it says, specific, get granular, find exactly what you want to achieve, find those measurable units. So if I want to say, create a button on a website, I want know it's what it is going to be. It's going to be a button on my website that does this. Measurable, meaning that in order to know that I achieved it, I know that the button has to be on the website and actually have the feature or whatever functionality that I agree with. Attainable, making sure that that button's not out of reach. Can I actually develop that button? Do I have the knowledge to do that button? Do I need to make another SMART goal to achieve that knowledge? Make sure it's relevant. Does the button even do anything with our webpage? Like, do I even need that button? And then also time bound. I don't want to take 3 years on a button. I want to have a job in about 1. Therefore, we need to make sure we time box it. We actually really have an achievable time box to really overcome, or not overcome, to make it to that milestone. So I hope everyone did like SMART goals. They really, really will help you going into the future, not only with coding, not only with your professional life, but with your personal life as well. It's just great things to keep in mind. So with this, I'm not really going to dive too much into the studio today, unless anyone had any questions specifically about SMART goals. So I'm just going to open it up to right now. Does anyone have any questions about SMART goals, how they can tie into your personal or corporate life, or anything along those lines? Anything at all? And if you feel like you don't want to ask it again, always you can direct message me too if it makes you feel more comfortable. All right. Perfect, perfect, perfect. What was that?
I thought you couldn't hear me, so I was like, okay, never mind.
Oh, no, sorry. I couldn't hear you. You were unmuted. Yeah, what's going on, Jade?
No, I was going to piggyback off what you said and what Mark said. And he was saying, I have these big goals and dreams, and now I have to, some people are asking me questions, and I have to itemize this down. Well, that kind of really sat with me. Like, wait a minute, I needed that. Because I'm just like, oh, I got to do this. I want to do this. It's so big. Break that stuff down, and you will get there. It's like, just gave me life right there. So, yeah.
That's great to hear. It really is. It does help. And I mean, I feel that from my personal level too. It's just, it does really help. So it's great to hear that you found like purpose for it already, to just organize thoughts or just wants to do in life into those sustainable steps to get there. So that's great to hear. Anybody else?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Mark and Jade. I had like a broad, just with coding, like what I wanted to do after coding. But I think my goal now is just basically to get through each assignment, get through the class, get like an understanding of the terminology, and just get like my own, like, gist of getting it together. So and just learn as much as I can, like be a sponge. So I think I had to narrow mine down to like a short-term goal within the class, in the time frame, like, I want to get finish the professional project and then get a job within 6 months to a year. So in order to do that, I need to get grasp the information from each assignment that we're doing, and like really just, communicate, ask questions, and not be afraid to ask questions within the big groups and stuff like that. So yeah, back on.
Great. No, that is fantastic. Honestly, yeah, I love this feedback so far. It's exactly what it's there for. And yeah, again, I guess I haven't even brought that up. It's for the assignments as well, for your assignments, your studios, the exercises, for this class as a whole. SMART goals are perfect for that. As you already know, you have a ton of information coming at you, a ton of things you have to do. Like it is a fire hose right now. And the only way you can approach it is itemizing it, getting organized, staying organized, and on top of your goals. So that's great. Awesome to hear that.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I felt the same. I felt the same way. I made my goals very, very small for this class. I did two I did 2 months for totally not feeling lost when I'm reading the book. And then I put 5 months for me to be able to answer a question in class without using my notes. So just something very simple for the for the course of this class.
That's awesome. Yeah, those are great achievable goals, as well as just very, very relevant as well to what we're doing right now. So that's awesome to hear. Fantastic. I like them. Also, I need to do ones that not to use my notes either. I use Google way too much. So if you figure out a good way of doing that, please let me know. I still Google stuff every single day. There's nothing wrong with using notes, by the way. You use them as much as you
I
want.
wanted to know something. My daddy would be like, "Go look it up." I'm like, but there was no Google.
That's
It's
every
called the
I
parent.
library.
use Google
That's
because
every
I'm like,
parent.
let me go figure this out some other way. I'm like, oh wait, I can just look that stuff up.
It's
That's
called
just every parent.
it's called the library. The library, a long time ago.
Is that a website?
So many books. Like,
The library is obsolete now. No one needs it anymore.
A lie.
I love my library.
Yeah, just for quiet
Yeah,
time.
I
Okay.
love my library
I was
also.
about to say, I go to my library all the time.
At least once a week.
Comic
You know what's
book.
sad? I do pen and paper a lot too. Like I know I type everything, but my mouse and keyboard are both corded, and I write down a lot of stuff. I still take out a lot of trees, even though I'm like mostly virtual. So no, I'm okay. I'm okay with the library. I like the library. I don't like paper cuts, so I do stay away from them. But
there's magic behind pen and paper, you know?
right? I
It
don't know.
feels
I just,
natural.
Magic around paper.
you know what I
Like,
can't do?
look at all my
cursive
notes.
anymore.
They're not are here. They're not on my computer. I ain't got a single note typed. It's all handwritten.
I don't.
Yeah,
It's
I got
easier.
notebook. I got
Like
note
that.
cards.
Jade, no hacker
Right.
can steal them from you.
There you go. There you
You are
go.
like
I
a
got you. If you need some,
cybersecurity
let me
expert.
know.
Now, everybody, this is amazing to hear. And I'm really happy that a lot of you are taking to these SMART goals. Please keep working with them. I'll hopefully remind you all during class, just keep those goals going. And honestly, I will remind you multiple times, break those things that you want to do into baby steps. Even when you're debugging code, break it into baby steps. Build your stuff step by step, test it constantly. Baby steps are the way in coding and a lot of things. All of this stuff that you're learning can also be definitely, used in that personal life again. So I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on SMART goals. I don't want to take too much of your time. I already talked to you guys a lot today, so you're probably already getting tired of me and you want a weekend away. So I completely get that. So as of right now, I will absolutely let anybody who wants to go, feel free to go. I'm going to be staying around just for a little bit longer to answer any additional questions about conditionals, debugging, or anything in general about coding that maybe you didn't get a time to ask. So thank you again for joining. If you are going to drop off right away, otherwise I'll be here for questions and feel free to shout them out whenever.
So
Hey, Kyle.
Feel free to also put them in the lecture questions channel, and I'll make sure I take a look at those too if a lot of people have them. So you don't forget them either.
I have a
All right.
question, Kyle.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I took a screenshot of this. Let me pull it up right quick. When I was trying to commit something in GitHub, yeah.
Okay.
It says this action must be performed by an organization owner. So wasn't sure what was going on there.
So with those are going to be like more one-on-one questions, and I'm happy to help you with that. Make sure that you're forking those replits. If you're getting blocked by trying to commit against something, it means that that's not your copy. So make sure you do fork your replit and you're working in your own environment. You should see that because you should see your own name in the URL as well as on the top left of the replit.
Okay.
Feel free to DM me the screenshot you have, and I can take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if this is also an individual question, but nested conditionals just threw me off.
Okay. Yeah.
The
nested
example in the book, it says our first attempt at a solution might look like this, and then it comes out positive, but it says that it's not supposed to come out positive. It's supposed to come out, nothing is supposed to be printed because the number 7 is, it's
Do you want to direct
5.5
message
if
me
you wanna look.
what you're
Okay.
looking at? Yeah,
Yeah.
direct message me that, and I'll put it on my screen so we can all take a look at this nested
Oh, okay.
conditional. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Sorry, I'm
In
trying
the
to
meantime,
figure
while
this
you're
out.
sending that to me, and I just dropped on my headphones.
Hey, Kyle, on that exact point, we had somebody in our group bring that up as
No,
well.
it's me again.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't look over. I just heard it. I was going to say, if we work through that one, I was just going to make sure that if we had multiple people on it, we create a short video and solve it. So
I know one of the other girls asked about it too. She and I had the same question. So, okay. Kyle, I just sent it to you.
Perfect. All right, I will start sharing my screen. Let's take a look at it. Is it under 5.5, the first one?
Yeah, it's pretty much just, like that, the whole thing. Like, I just didn't understand why the 7, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just, I'm
You're
trying
all
to
good.
word it correctly.
Yeah, you're fine. Let's take a look at it. So I'm going to open that, and I'm going to share my screen, and we'll get started. And just to let everyone know, my cutoff tonight is unfortunately 9 o'clock again. So I'm going to try to get through everyone's question I possibly can, but we'll do it here. All right. Okay, so we're going to go over here, and then just make sure that I'm getting the right example here. Which one would you like to go through?
Okay, so the first one, our first attempt at a solution might look like this. And then it says we find that the output is positive, and then so I guess that the first attempt is wrong and then the second attempt is right, and I was just wondering why.
For sure. Let's take a look at it. Let's copy that over here. Let's bring it into our replit. I am going to create a new replit actually, just so I don't lose all that code. So go to replit. I am going to do a new replit. Studio 2. Oh, that's not how you spell JavaScript. JavaScript. Come on.
I need to move myself
There we go. JavaScript. And what we're going to do is Studio 2. Creating the replit. Here we go. And let's paste in that and see what's going on. So here's our
class. Stick around and ask.
Q&A.
So there we go. We have our num7. We say positive. Okay. Now, remind me, Allie, how do algorithms work? What do we do?
Oh.
So what's that word that all computer algorithms do? How do they approach their tasks?
Oh, I don't know.
Sequentially.
What?
Sequentially.
Sequentially,
Exactly.
okay, gotcha.
Yes, very good. Sequentially,
Okay.
one after the other, one step in front of the other. So let's start at the first step, line 1. Let num equal 7.
Are the even, positive, and odd just part of this example, or is this part of nested conditionals?
So let's just take a look at it. The nested conditionals, we'll talk about nested conditionals, if statements within if statements here in a second. But we're going to see what this program is doing and why it's spitting out positive, just for everyone's sake as well.
Okay.
So our num equals 7. 7 is not positive. 7 is positive. 7 is not even, right? Yeah. So what we're going to do here is that num7. So it's going to come down to now line 3. Can someone tell me what this is going to equate to?
1.
1.
1, very good, because num is the value of 7.
Mm-hmm.
7 mod 2 is 1, because our remainder is going to be 1. If it was 6, it would be 0. Remember, mod is just our remainder.
Right.
So 1 is what this equates to. Does 1 equal 0?
No.
Exactly. So even will not be printed out. It's just going to skip it. It's going to come down to line 5. Nothing's on line 6. We come to line 7. We have num, and then this operator we didn't talk about in lecture too much, but we have seen this in math class. This is our greater than symbol. So it's asking num, which remind me again, what is the value of num?
7.
7. Is 7 greater than 0?
Sure. Yes.
Sure.
So this is true. Our conditional is true. Hence, what's going to happen?
Positive. So I get that. I just don't understand why it says that it's wrong. Or
let's go up here and see.
Not wrong, because after that example between that one and the other one, it says console output positive, and then it says we find that the output is positive even though 7 is odd. and so nothing should be printed. Maybe I just read it wrong.
Okay, that's completely fine. Let's see. Write a
Okay.
code that prints different messages based on the value of the number variable. If the number is odd, print nothing. That's our big thing here. If the number is odd, we shouldn't print anything.
Right.
So we should protect all of our console logs with something that will only trigger if our number is positive. So that's where that comes in. This if statement right here, this conditional, will only be true if the number is even. Because 6 mod 2 is 0. 4 mod 2 is 0. Because those are even. 2 divides into those numbers evenly. Hence why we have a remainder of 0. So anything, yeah.
Okay, so if that equation, they're not talking about the 7 up top. I,
Say that again. Say that one more time.
I'll listen to you first.
Okay. No, you're
Okay.
completely fine. Yeah, feel free to chime in if you have that, have that question. So this conditional will only be true if the number num is, if the number is positive. Because num with 4, 6, 8 divided by 2 all have a remainder of 0. Our even numbers all have a remainder of 0 when divided by 2. So our directions say print nothing if the number is odd. Hence why this direction is incorrect, because even though 7 is odd, not the right one, even though 7 is odd, we still got the number positive, or we still got the output positive. So we don't want any output. So where should we put this if statement down here that keeps spitting it out? What would protect it from not outputting if our number is odd? What if statement will not get triggered if the number is odd? What if statement will not get triggered if the number is odd?
I don't know.
So remember, 8, 4, and 6, can they all be divided by 2?
Yes.
Correct. That's what this is checking right here, to see if those numbers can be divided by 2. So if it can be divided by 2 and have a remainder of 0, it's even.
Right.
So that means the only time this if statement will be triggered or go into here is if the number is even. Hence, which if statement will only be triggered if the number is even? The first one or the second one?
The second one. I mean, the
Second
first one.
Oh,
First one.
okay, the first one. The first
This one will only be triggered if the number is even.
Right.
So if we don't want a console log to output on any odd number, we protect it. We nest it inside of another if statement to protect it. Hence now, we run it and nothing gets printed out because we're protecting it by nesting it inside of another if statement that's protecting it from another condition.
Okay.
So now we can change num up here to 8. And now that we see it's even and positive.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So I won't print anything. Okay. Okay.
Exactly.
Put it
If we
together.
do -8, then it'll just say even.
What did you change? You just put them in the same squiggly line? Oh no, they're
Exactly. As we can see, when we click on one of these curly brackets, its partner gets shaded.
Mm-hmm.
So we can see that these two line up together.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy on line 12 and this one on line 3 are opening and closing partners.
Mm-hmm.
So I put this if statement within the nested if statements curly brackets.
Got it.
And that's why we use nested if statements, to protect things against other conditions like that.
Got it. Thank you.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So let me ask, if you divided -8 by 2, you have
What is that?
you don't
Negative
have anything left over, but it's a negative sign.
So Remember, mod is going to look at the remainder. -8 divided by 2 is -4, with a remainder of 0. And we can't ever have -0. So therefore, it will just be the solid number 0, or the whole number 0.
Okay. Okay. And is that why I'm moving back and forth between screens? Why it doesn't print positive?
Exactly.
The number is negative.
Because the number is negative. We can see it
Okay.
at this if statement here. Because again, we haven't talked about this, so let's go through real quick. But num is -8. This checks if num is greater than 0. Is -8 greater than 0?
No.
Very good. Exactly. Hence why this will not print, because -8 is not greater than 0, therefore it's not positive. Hence, we can put an else statement in here. So console.log, it's negative. We can run that.
It's negative.
And now we say it's even, but it's also negative.
Ooh. Cool.
So how do you guys feel about this one?
It's pretty cool.
Better.
No one's gonna wake up in a cold
Yeah.
sweat tonight thinking like, oh my gosh, what was that? I don't remember. Yeah, good. How's everybody feel about conditionals?
I don't mind them. I just didn't like the nested ones.
That's fair. Yeah, they're tricky. They can be tricky at times.
Yeah. My TF spent about 40 minutes with me today earlier on it. So now I'm a little bit, I feel a little bit better on it. So, oh, by the way, Kyle, Bob Ross is the man, and he an app called Pluto. They made a Bob Ross station, a marathon station. So that's my nightly thing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I am really struggling with the read line sync and how to get that to work, because I totally mess that up every single time, and then I guess I just don't understand it right now.
You're fine. Yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about it. Like what do you feel like the biggest knowledge gap is there? Like what do you look at and you're like, what the heck is that?
Okay, so I know that the read line sync command is to allow us to, or allow like a user to input data, and that data then gets transferred over to the code in order to, basically provide the end user information. So I just cannot get it to work. Well, you know what? I tell you what, before you answer that, why don't you go ahead and work? I need to Google it.
No,
So-
it's okay. Let's talk about read line sync, because that would be a great addition here to our example.
Okay.
So let's just talk about read line sync, just because if anybody else that's on our call right now just has any questions about read line sync, let's just talk about it.
Okay.
Let's get out of the open. So read line sync,
Mhm.
computers, they take input. As we're talking literally to our computer right now, it likes input, as we know. You type in Google, that's input. Computers want input. Read line sync provides that input into our JavaScript programs. We can get input into our JavaScript programs. So it's a way for humans to interact with our computers. So read line sync also does not just come with JavaScript. JavaScript is a language, which is awesome. It's great. It does what it needs to do. But the only reason why JavaScript has gotten to where it is today is because that people keep adding these toolboxes, these packages, so JavaScript can do cooler things, also written in JavaScript. One of those packages is read line sync. Read line sync was written by somebody way smarter eons ago, aka eons ago being like 5 years probably, I don't know. But anyway, it's a package that we import so we can do cooler things in our JavaScript programs. So let's go ahead and do that. What we start with is const, and then we need to name a variable to hold the package's contents.
So in my case,
yeah.
I'm sorry about that. So in my case here, what I was doing was, like, I started the graded assignment. So if I was my constant variable, I can name that, like, say for example, username or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You can name your variables whatever you want.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes I keep things consistently named just to make sure that nothing gets too messy with other examples. But in this case, just so we can have some fun, usually your readline things have just say input. Let's just call it, let's be crazy now. Let's call it my input. Isn't that
My input.
like mind blown, right? So what we do is we say my input, just a variable we're going to save all the contents of that package into. And so what we do here is that we use a word we haven't really like talked too much about, but it's a very powerful word. It says require. Think of a download button on a website. That's kind of what this require does. It says, download this into my JavaScript program just so I can use it. And then we got to tell it, all right, what file or what package do we want to download into it? Well, it's readline sync. So we say readline dash sync. Now, I only know this off the top of my head because we use this in a lot of examples. Most packages names, I have zero idea. So I don't think you have to just memorize all of them. I usually Google stuff a lot. Let's make sure that runs real quick. So as you can see, npm install, and we bring in readline sync. Everything worked there smoothly. So again, baby steps to approach our goal. Now the fun part begins. We're going to ask the user for a number, and then we're going to run through this even positive is negative thing.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to do this up here, just because my input's there, and I want to do it right after the line, just so I can keep things together. I like to have that. Again, Kyle OCD here. So I'm going to say let my user's num equal, and then I need to call to the package, this readline sync, all of its awesome features. So I say my input dot, and then what do we need out of it? What are we calling inside that package constantly to ask our users for input? What's that word? Question, very good, question. That is that keyword that we're gonna be using to say, hey, in that package, grab this question feature here, and we're gonna utilize that. So I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get, of course, supply a question. So what is your fave number? There we go. Let's go and run this. What is your fave number? What's your favorite number, Jason?
My favorite number 8.
8. Today it's 8. There we go. Now, luckily it says even and it's negative. Well, it's not definitely negative. It's not, but it is even. But we also know that all this algorithm down here is not doing anything with my user's num. So now we actually need to do something with it. So my user's num, we need to take this and convert it into an actual number. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. If we console log the type of my user's num, can someone tell me what this is going to be?
That's oh, good list. Not string. No, well,
you had it.
No.
It is a string.
Oh, okay.
No quotes?
Well, remember, we're just printing out the type of, so we're just getting that data type. So it doesn't need to give us quotes. But we know
I
that
mean, I thought a string had to have quotes.
It absolutely does. But if we look at here, what is this? Is this an actual string we're typing out, or is it something else that we work with?
Well, we're asking the system, what do you see this as? So we wouldn't need the quotes for it.
Oh, okay.
That's
It's a
correct. But
variable.
Alex, or anybody, what is this called? What is it? It starts with a V. What is this called?
Variable.
Var, variable.
The variable. This is a variable. Inside of this variable is a string. Inside of it, just think of a variable as a capsule or a tool that has stuff in it, other data types, such as a string. This one will have the string 8. So, I know I'm boring you here. I can get a funnier hat on if that excites everyone in this game. All right, so, so what we can do here is that we have a string. But if I did is 0 less than string 8, that's just going to be weird. We don't want to do that. It's not going to give us good solutions. It's not going to give us stable ones either. It might break in the future. Again, causing us to work on a Saturday. We don't want to work on a Saturday. So what we do is we take that string and what do we need to convert it into?
A number.
Oh, number.
And someone walk me through how to do that. We're going to create another variable here. My user's converted number. Someone walk me through. How do we convert a string to a number?
We call Kyle in on Saturday to do it.
Dang it, Sean.
Problem solved.
Number, right?
Very good. Number with a capital N. So we have number there. And then what do we put inside of it?
I believe you just leave that blank, don't you?
Well, we don't know what to convert then. If you just said, I want you to convert this to a number, and I asked you, what is this?
Oh, you did. Then what you do is you convert the my user number. Or man,
No, I'm sorry. I had to click that thing in there. What was your answer?
You put in there my user number, my user's
Very
number.
good. Exactly. Yeah. You put in that variable you want to convert. Because you need something there to convert. Otherwise, it can't read our minds. So we have to tell it something. So now we're going to console log the type of my user's converted num. And now what are we going to get?
You're going to get it to say number.
Very good. Now it's a number. And now we can compare this to other numbers. So we actually can do stuff inside of our algorithm with it. The one that we've created here that tells us even or negative or positive. So let's do that now. We can grab that. And now we're going to change out num. I don't want num to exist anymore. So I'm just going to comment it out because we completely replaced num. Before, this algorithm could only check -8. So now we've actually had it so our user can select any number under the sum that they want and test it out. So let's go ahead and replace num. So I'm copying or I'm just pasting in what I've copied. So I replace num with my user's converted num. Now let's run this one more time. Our favorite number is 8. What's going to be our output now?
Output is actually going to be even because it's going to be, and
remember we have nested if statements here. So if statements inside of if statements.
Even, positive. Even, positive.
Even and positive. Very good.
Okay.
Because we have even here. Then we keep going down the lines. We see that there's an if statement here. 8 is greater than 0. Therefore, we're going to console log positive. And there we go. Of course, we also have our type of right here, but I'll take that out. So that's how we do it. We just got it done. We can take in now any user's input under the sun, and it's dynamic to our user's input. That's so powerful about readline sync is that it takes in user's input that can change depending person to person.
So
and we can use that algorithm.
When you're doing, I'm sorry to interrupt you like that. I was
please go ahead.
Very rude.
I was done.
The readline sync line. So I see you have require there. So you're basically telling the system, hey, we need this information. This is required. We can't move on without it. That's basically what it's. Okay.
Remember, require is like the download button. Think of your Xbox. You can't play Halo whatever. What are they on now? 25? Halo whatever without downloading it first. You can't play with readline sync without downloading it first. Hence the word require.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I get it now.
Cool. Great to hear.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Anytime. All right. I got time for one more question here.
Can I ask you a question?
What's going on?
All right. There's a syntax like readline sync. On this case, can we able to use let command instead of const? You know, when is it possible?
Oh, absolutely. You can definitely use that. Typically, you can always revert or you can always fall back to let. Const is the more strict one.
Constant, like
let is more loosey-goosey, more relaxed. Yeah. So you can always fall back.
Hey, Kyle, you could entirely blow this one up if you redefined my input to 7 at some point, or you just accidentally take my input, you change it to something accidentally, you lose your ability to use my input.questions. So I was giving you a seed. It's the end of the night. I'm giving you a seed to blow it up.
Thank you, and I will take that. All right, so you can absolutely set it to let, but we're going to now see the power between const and lets, just like Sean says. Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. So how do you add a additional question? Like how do you, like when you run it and how do you add additional questions where it'll be off to the side once you run it? Like it'll give you all the inputs, all the questions that they answered. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. Well, you absolutely can do that. Sure. Right now, we just wanted one question, but if you wanted also to put a question down here, my user's color or something like that, you can ask them as many questions as you want. So what's your favorite color? So we run that. Favorite number is 8. Favorite color is yellow today.
Okay.
You can ask as many questions as we want.
Okay. Gotcha. So the way you did, so it doesn't. So that second question doesn't have to be in sequence with the first one. It doesn't have to. They don't have to be in a certain order.
No,
because
because you're going to be asking questions periodically through your algorithms. You can ask those questions anywhere.
Gotcha. Cool.
One more question, Kyle. Silly question.
Yeah, what's up?
Can we use the syntax require in parentheses readline sync like 2 times?
Do you want to download Halo 25 twice?
No, I mean the whole syntax. Can we use it like 2 times in the?
You can use require as many times as you want, but do you want to require the same package twice? No, you don't want to download readline sync twice.
So I'm gonna like change the my input part. Like, that's what I. Exactly.
Right. Like, so if you want to do a different package or something like that, by the way, this package doesn't exist. I'm just for an example, but you can download 2 different packages. You can download a million different packages, which is just cool because again, there's a lot of smart people out there that make it.
Actually, very cool.
Yeah. So you can bring in as many as you want, which we will be doing in future classes. So that's a great question.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Oh, and real quick, I do want to, John, I didn't forget about that question because I do want to show you the power of const versus let here. So like Sean said, my input here, we changed it to let out of just a pure curiosity like question. Let's allow us to do what that consts don't let us do. What is that word called? Starts with an R. Rhymes with, I can't think of anything that it rhymes with.
I know.
Assign. Reassign. We can reassign variables when they're lets. So if I reassigned my input to equals 7 or a dog or something like that, down here it expects my question to have one of those features that we downloaded. But remember up here, my input is no longer that package because we go sequentially. So what happens here is nuclear explosion. So we can't do this. That's why with these packages, it's very important that we say const here because we know those will never change.
Oh, I see.
So this is it. Here it is. That is if statements. Those are if statements, conditionals, and we did some readline syncs and requires, which are always fun. So we got 2 more minutes here together. Any last minute questions?
I have one.
Promises work.
Wait, what was that?
How do promises work? No, I'm just entirely joking.
Dang it. It's way too late, Sean. I told you I didn't have coffee this morning or this
I
afternoon.
have a question.
What's up, Melanie?
So there's like little cheat sheet things you can use sometimes in these things, and I was wondering if Replit had one and where.
Cheat sheet. Define cheat sheet.
Like if I wasn't sure if I needed to use like the curly brackets or the straight brackets or something, I could look up the thing and it tells me the purpose of it.
Sean, I see your head shaking. Do you know a good example?
Yeah, you're looking for a cheat sheet for JavaScript, not one for Replit. And in JavaScript, we're running node.js on this, not strictly JavaScript, but any of those should work if you find a cheat sheet. If you want me to look you up one, I can link one here. I'm just Googling and grabbing one. That was all I'm really doing.
Can I get that?
We can't
Can
find
I get
it
that
in.
too?
You're not finding a good one? Because you're not looking for a cheat sheet for Replit. You're looking for a cheat sheet for
JavaScript.
For JavaScript.
Okay. Well, so I did the data analysis course and used RStudio.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a little section where you could pull up your program you were using and sort of go digging into it for the different commands you wanted to use or symbols or whatever?
So JavaScript or Replit in general doesn't really have something like that. The closest we get is, as you've already probably seen, is the suggest. So see how this comes up here? This is the closest thing that you're going to get to something like that the RStudio or R or MATLAB or any of those kinds of languages would have for you. JavaScript, like you already know, there's a million ways to do one thing. So it can't really help you out too much. When it comes to where the curly brackets go, I would recommend personal notes for that. So that like if statements have curly brackets and the difference between let and const, things like that. Those are kind of more personal notes. But and creating your own cheat sheet. But there's also documentation online as well. And I think Sean said he found possibly a good one.
W3 Schools is the one I highly recommend while going through this course. It is almost encyclopedic amount of knowledge at the level that you're coming in and going to want it. If you get into some of these sites like Stack Overflow, the information for the first couple answers are going to be perfectly dead on accurate and be so far over your head they're going to mean nothing to you. Whereas you jump into W3 Schools and here's 4 methods you can use on a string. Here's 12 methods you can use on an array. That's the stuff you're looking for because you already know that I'm trying to do something to this string. You jump into string methods. Oh, I can do this, this, and this. Oh, I didn't know I could also do that. It's a really good resource at this level in your learning. So W3 Schools.
Yep. I highly recommend that. Yeah, Google Skills, W3 in the future or now, Stack Overflow. Yeah, all of those will help you out. Fortunately, there's no good one sheet for everything, unfortunately. But if you ever find one, please let me know because I would love one of those.
Throw that into like their random channel or something.
But W3 Schools?
I need to go back to it, yeah.
Okay. Here, I'll throw it into something right here real quick.
All right. Well, great. These were all amazing questions, and I hope they helped out everyone else that's still on the channel listening. So I'll leave it at like any last second questions here. Anything? Otherwise, it is time for this guy to actually make a lot of popcorn probably and watch a thing on Netflix and then pass out. But not like everyone needs to know my night schedule, but that's it. So anywho, that is all I have for you all tonight. Thank you again for coming to Studio Review. I hope it really did help, and I will see everyone's smiling face back here on Monday at 5:30.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one, Cal. Have a good night, everybody.
What else?
Did you get that, Melanie?
I did. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Before class started, I was just trying to get everybody up and active, and that was one of the tips I threw in before class even started. Was if you one of the things we're teaching in this class is how to look up your problems. And right now, the problems you're having, if you put in W3JS and whatever your problem is, this will usually bring up something for you at this point. Because it'll link you, it'll grab some of those words and go, oh, do you mean this? And 85, 90% of the time, that first click is going to get you right to something on a fairly long page that'll help you out.
Yeah, okay. I can absolutely RTFM. I just don't always know where it's at.
So finding the right sites, as I said, Stack Overflow, everybody is so great with it. Don't always go with the very first answer. Yes, that first answer with the most upvotes might be the best answer, but it might be so far over your head at this point that it's not going to help you. Read down 3, 4, 5 answers and see if someone else answered it in a way early on that is much more useful to you. So if you end up on Stack Overflow, don't always just read the first answer and quit. Sometimes they put in things that make my head hurt and I just start reading down saying, okay, can someone simplify this for me?
All right. Thank you.
No problem. It doesn't. Your facial expression isn't saying I answered your question. Is there something more I can do for you?
No, I'm putting stuff away and I can hear my kids and I'm
okay.
I don't want to be like, okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, so it's not me, it's you.
It's me, and now I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Good night. Good night, guys. Good night, guys.
See you guys on Monday.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good night, Kyle.